Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. So they gave no second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Interrupt the Ridgetop Ramblers and get on into the show. How you doing this wonderful Friday morning, guys? This is 1100 WSGI. I'm Utah Laverne, and this is One Street Over. We love just having a chance to say, hey, what's happening One Street Over? That's the reason, the name is kind of catchy, don't you think,
Okay,
Doc?
I like it. Okay.
Doc Brown's in the house, my chiropractor. I love this guy, y'all, I tell you. And I've been so jealous because Lee Marie has you in here on the first Friday. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so cool. And she is the reason that I even know about you. And I'm so thankful for that. And I kind of want to know that story.
Pat.
Was it Pat? Okay.
Pat was the one who originally came in.
Okay.
Started care with me, introduced me to Lee Marie. And then
okay. And then the rest is history. And so he starts coming in, and it just so happens at the time that you're coming in, we're really searching for a chiropractor because my husband and I we have been chiro commandos. I had a chiropractor one time call me a chiro commando because I really appreciate what it does.
Yeah.
My family up in Kentucky, my parents big into chiropractic.
Yeah.
We've always been, and I don't know if it's because we're so big structurally and we get that it makes a difference. I don't know, maybe that's part of it.
See how it could.
Yeah. And so, and we've always been athletes. And so that beats your body up. My husband played collegiate football. So we've just always been into chiropractic. Well, our chiropractor, who we just loved dearly and went to for, 25 years, Sean Eckley, up in Nashville, had a terrible car accident. And just got to where he could not do it anymore. And so we'd been on that search for a chiropractor, and we met you and were like, oh, he sounds just like Dr. Eckley. and I mean, a lot of it's old school chiropractic. I mean, it's like the let's do this the way it was. I just appreciate that so much. Nothing wrong with the machines and all that, but when you put your hands on a patient and you just do it, and two, your faith. When I walk in your shop and I see Jesus everywhere, man, that is powerful to me. And he's the same way. He's still around. He's doing great. But it's one of those things that you were just like a younger version of Dr. Eckley. I'd love for y'all to meet. I think you would love him. I think he would love you too. But I said, Mark was in there the other day. I said, ask Doc if he can come in and do the Faith Friday segment with me.
All right.
Because,
Yeah.
I would love to talk more with you about your faith and your journey. So does that sound cool?
It sounds all right.
And he's going to hang out, and Lee Marie will be in here at 8, and then we can talk about the medical stuff.
Yeah.
And Lee Marie, you'll be coming in, and she'll be fussing at me. Well, are you doing this? And
what were you talking about? So we don't double up or whatever.
Well, no, she'll get. There'll be Diet Cokes in the trash can.
No.
Are those yours?
Jeez, Pete.
And
toxic.
Yeah, I know. I'm 60 years old, man, and I'm
drink
just
something God made, even if it's sugar, to allow your body to process it. That's what He designed our body to have to process if we need to, but He didn't design it to be in such a high amounts like it is in most sodas. But the chemicals in diet, God never designed our body to have to process that stuff.
I know that. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we know better and we still do it? What is it that causes that?
Well, sometimes there's the chemicals that are in there that are very addictive.
Okay.
That have a neurological-based stimulatory effect on neurotransmitters in our brain. And so it's like a drug.
Yeah.
So
do you use caffeine at all?
Yeah.
You do use
I'm okay with
coffee?
that. Yeah.
You're okay with caffeine, coffee,
God made
and all
the coffee
that?
bean.
Okay.
I think when it comes down to it, like if I were to go to like the nitty gritty of my philosophy, in the beginning, God said He made the world and He said it was great and everything in it. Okay, so He created even marijuana, if we wanted to say it.
Yeah.
He
I use
created that
CBD
plant.
products. Yeah.
He created the cannabis plant. He created medicinal mushrooms. He created coffee. I don't know why He created poison ivy, but we'll ask Him when we get there.
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one.
It may have been food for other animals.
Yeah, that's hysterical. That's funny.
But the reality is He made these plants and He made them to have these effects on our body.
Yeah.
But He didn't make these plants for those plants to become our God.
Yeah.
We are dependent on. To be dependent. Now, if we took that plant and it helps us through a situation, you look at the effects of pain relief of medicinal marijuana or medicinal cannabis. Okay. They showed that people would prefer that for pain relief following chemotherapy or radiation in cancer treatment than they would the narcotics, pain medications that are handed out like candy, it seems. So people would prefer that and they got better results. And there's a actual direct anti-cancer effect by the compounds within the cannabis plant. So you're not only having a benefit to relieve the pain and suffering of the individual going through that treatment, but you're also having a benefit of helping the body fight off cancer more efficiently, more effective, and hopefully increase in survival if that's God's will. So God made that plant, made it to have that effect. Why do we call it bad? Who started calling it bad? But God doesn't want us to be like, okay, I want this, and this is my God, and I need,
Right.
In a state of addiction, whether it's something God created or something man created, it doesn't matter. You're in a state of addiction and dependence, and that's you have this drive for that. If it's coffee and caffeine, that or energy drinks, whatever it may be. That's not the state God wants you in. But we could glorify God when we say these plants have these medicinal effects. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it something more than what the Big Bang Theory? It proves the existence of a higher intelligence, at least to that point. For the atheist coming in, we could say, hey, these plants, how could you believe that it's just over time, that this plant, there was nothing pushing this plant to have these effects, because when the plant's eaten, the plant's dead. So it's not a survival effect of the plant, Does it make sense?
It makes absolute sense. I've had hip replacement, and so I have really bad arthritis. And so I had my hip replacement doctor. I don't take any kind of pharmaceuticals at all. And I'm 60 and I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
I take vitamins and things like that. I've gotten some stuff from you, and I'm real interested in the liver stuff,
Grass-fed liver? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's the highest source of B vitamins. It's the highest source of magnesium, zinc, copper, all these minerals. I mean,
very interesting. A
ruminant animal ruminates on leafy greens or grass and vegetation, and their stomachs are made to extract the nutrients and minerals there way more efficiently than we ever can. So they extract all of that, and then they concentrate it in their tissues. And as long as it's a healthy animal, and there was actually a paper I had up on my computer yesterday about the differences between grass-fed and grain-fed, and it's an exponential increase in the nutrients, the minerals, the phytonutrients that people would think you'd only get from plants, but actually it's in the organ meats, especially of these free-range, grass-fed, grown in the way God intended the animal. The animal was never intended by God to be, locked up in a cage, in essence, shoulder to shoulder with other cattle and fed corn and different grains to fatten them up like crazy. He meant for them to be out on green pastures.
And it's fascinating. All this stuff, if you do go into his place up in Clarksville, it's Wild Roots, and it's just the coolest place. And you can go in there and just read and learn this stuff. But it's so fascinating. But we were talking about CBD. My doctor told me. He told me when I had my hip replacement, because I can't. Number one, back years ago when I had kids, when I was going through childbirth, they tried to give me pain meds, and they just made me sick. And praise the Lord they did, because they're so addictive. And I'm so glad I couldn't take them. And my sister, who passed away of cancer a few years ago, she could not take pain meds. And so we have always since CBD became a thing, we've been like, that's it. And he told me to start taking it, and it has been a
Yeah.
huge difference for me,
Awesome.
huge difference. And so I can't say enough about all those things. And I love the fact that you give God the glory for it. Number one. I mean, that's just it. So tell me something about, because I know you'll talk more about this with Lee Marie, and I could have so many questions that I could ask you about, but I want to know how or were you raised in faith? I mean, is this something that's just
I would
natural for
say
you?
definitely. I mean, we were in a
Yeah.
very small town. We had 2 churches in our town.
Okay.
My grandmother, she sang in the choir in the Methodist church. And,
Mm-hmm.
We went to church every Sunday. And I always had this, knowledge that God was real and I need to follow him. I need to do right. Obviously there's times in our lives when we stray away and God kind of has to wake us up and redirect us, so yes, I'm not this perfect angel or anything like that. That's what I
None
always
of us
wanna
are.
clarify. So,
None of us are.
but there was always that obedience to the Lord that I felt the call
Okay.
and draw in my spirit and heart is that I need to be obedient to the Lord to the best of my ability. And I try,
Yeah.
So yes, my parents raised me well. My grandparents had a big impact on that because they were, churchgoers on a regular. So yeah.
So
I mean,
you came to it naturally.
yeah.
So
raised up in a family that was, yeah.
So-
and when you're in a small town, you're not in a big city, it's just everybody knows everybody. So I was, nowadays children in cities and different places, it's like, this world's way really has a bigger impact on them, I can imagine, versus a one stoplight town and 32 people in my graduating class. So it's a really small town. So it's like you do something wrong, your parents know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You couldn't get away with anything.
Yeah,
You know
it'll
what I
beat
mean?
you home.
Yeah,
That's what we used to
exactly.
always say.
Pretty
It'll
much. That's
beat
kind of
you home.
it will beat you home. The news
Yes.
will beat you home.
Yeah.
So, if you weren't there at church, people knew. So it's kind of like everybody, kept everybody else on track. It seemed like, yeah.
Where are you from?
Ohio.
Ohio.
So grew up in New Knoxville, Ohio. So very
How did
small
you
town.
end up in Clarksville, Tennessee?
Had other chiropractic friends and family
Okay.
members down in Nashville.
Okay.
And so considered going to Nashville for a little while, setting up office or working with some other friends, and then just deciding to, open up my own practice and looking around the outskirts of Nashville and different places and I had friends that would say like they got a lot of military that would drive down for the specialized chiropractic care, structural correction, down in Nashville. So they're like, we get a lot of people coming from Clarksville for the care. We need chiropractor up there doing this work. So I took a look and said, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Kind of the way it worked.
And I mean, you're hopping. I know Mark went in there the other day, and he
Right
had
on
to
Tuesday
just come
when
back.
I got
He had-
Monday was off, and so Tuesday.
Yeah, you were
was-
covered up, and he was like, "Okay," and so he just went back on Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
And we tease you about, we need you here in Springfield, but I got to be honest with you, it's not that far. I mean, it's like 30 minutes, and
Yeah.
and we traveled. We've been in Springfield since '92,
Yeah.
and our chiropractor was in Madison.
Mm-hmm.
So we went and drove to him, and I pointed that out to Mark the other day. I said, we never thought anything about going and seeing Dr. Eckley. I said, Doc Brown's no further than Dr. Eckley
Just
was.
uphill that way, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's what I told him the other day. I said, it's really not that far, honey. He goes, you're right, because we got to get him in there more.
Yeah.
And I mean, I need to get in there on a more regular basis myself too. I don't seem to have. I know we'll start having trouble, and it's like if I stay and maintain, then I won't have those things.
Yeah.
That's the key. And I have a lot of ringing in my ears that I think that if I got real consistent care, I think might
Some people
help.
can't have relief of tinnitus. Yes.
And I've got just terrible ringing in my ears. But with my husband, he has heart rhythm issues.
Yeah.
And we have found that when he stays adjusted, they ease up. And so we're going to try to get him in there once a week for the next few months to see if we can't get him on a consistent, thing, because
yo-yo.
yeah, because just to get him to, because it's just it has been astounding. We told his heart doctor that he'd been out of rhythm, and he came see you a few times, and he's been in rhythm since, and he's like, oh yeah, well you could have gone to Sonic and done the same, and it was just such a snide remark, and I get frustrated with that. I'm gonna kind of get off on chiropractic here.
It's
I don't understand that.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
mean, it's just so sad because one of the things you said earlier is like you compared me to the other chiropractor, not That's cool. I love it. I had this hardcore philosophy. Like that was my core philosophy was the old school chiropractic care. You know, the BJ Palmer, DD Palmer, the philosophy of the clothespin, you know, the head of the clothespin being your brain. And as long as it's connected between brain and body, you're communicating. So like with your husband's heart, its reality is, you know, his brain controls the rhythm of the heart. The nervous system controls the rhythm of the heart. All right. We have a direct influence on the tone and the consistency of nerve flow. All right. We have a neurological impact when we adjust the spine. How in the world can a medical physician deny that that's a possibility, that if you're out of rhythm and you can activate, stimulate, or relieve stress that alters the tone and consistency of that nerve impulse, it doesn't matter how you do it. If something has an impact on the nervous system in a positive fashion, then guess what? You know, it's like how could just shocking somebody with 2 paddles of electricity, you know, like stick your fingers in an outlet, you know, why don't you do that instead of the paddles? Like, why does that happen? Because it has an influence on the electrical system of the body. So does your spine. It's neurology. It's built into the way God designed our body. The spine has a direct influence on nerve impulse, frequency and tone. Fact. Neurology. Medical textbook explains that. I mean, and what's sad is you have even over the years what chiropractic was teaching and preaching about taking care of the spine, the nervous system. All right. There are now medical physicians who have taken literally verbatim the chiropractic philosophy of taking care of the spine and nervous system and basically taken our philosophy and wrote it up as like, this is what DOs do. Osteopaths. They take care of the spine, the nervous system to allow for better function of the nervous system, to regulate the heart, lungs, digestive system, all these things to enhance the function of the body. Like this is like in Mayo Clinic, you know.
It's crazy.
Or I think it was actually John Hopkins had the write-up on it. And it's like, wait, this is the DO? Like, no, this was our philosophy back when. Like, what do you guys, and chiropractors, they manipulate the spine to, and it's just like, God, you're admitting what we've been saying, but you're trying to say, and the reason it got so much, why chiropractic shifted away from that to a degree in society, there's a couple things in history that people should know. One is the Wilkes versus AMA case, okay? That is evidence, too. It's a Supreme Court case that found the AMA, the American Medical Association, in conjunction with the CDC and other organizations, medical organizations, found them guilty of conspiracy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy realist, because in the courts, they conspired, the AMA, the American Medical Association, conspired with other government agencies to destroy the chiropractic profession. And the court found them guilty of that for lying about what we could and could not affect and do. They tried to say that we would cause more harm. They said there was no basis in science for chiropractic care. They tried to remove us, because if we can take an individual who's having migraine headaches, just something simple, you know, which is a neurological condition, all right, if we can take and relieve their migraines by correcting the structure and alignment of their spine, giving them relief of that, allowing their body to function properly, they no longer have that problem. They don't need any drugs. It was literally a orchestrated event between these organizations and pharmaceutical companies to try and destroy our profession so that people wouldn't be healthy. Because if you have somebody who's healthy, then that system is no longer necessary.
Right.
Like in the Bible, it says it is the sick that are in need of the physician, not the healthy.
Yep.
So if chiropractic can relieve stress on the nervous system, allow their body to function properly, allow your husband's heart to function properly, there's no longer a need for medications, because when someone is healthy and functioning well, you're not sick. You don't need a physician. You don't need drugs.
Right.
And they tried to destroy us so as to protect their profits. You know, and so it goes back to it's a spiritual battle. It's good versus evil, and I'm not saying every medical physician is evil themselves.
Of course
and have
not.
this evil
Of course
agenda.
not.
You know, I clarify that. But in its roots, in the roots of the pharmaceutical company, in the roots, especially the pharmaceutical company, if you wanted to dive into that. But in the medical system, you know, it goes back to the shift between. You know, I've studied this in depth. people used to go to the temple and laying on hands and prayer and to God for healing. And then it shifted into Roman gods, god of Asclepius. And that's the symbol of the medical community is the rod of Asclepius. So it's a Greek god symbol originating in that's a symbol of healing. That's a snake is the symbol of healing, not the cross. And you know what I mean? Like,
oh, it's such a good point. Such a good point.
Why, as Christians, do we not see the writing on the wall, the symbols on the wall, the symbols on their coats, the symbols on their books, the symbols, symbolism, and that's it's just a spiritual sign of like that's not where we're supposed to go for healing. We're supposed to go to each other for prayer and the laying on of hands. And I'm like, what is more biblically, or more in alignment with the Bible's way of how we should heal? Laying on of hands for the sick to be healed. That's not an exact quote, and I can't quote exactly.
But
I'm not
right.
a biblical scholar, but I try my best to read and grasp the scriptures. Pray for somebody, laying on of hands, And as a chiropractor, we're putting our hands on somebody, not for the purpose. I mean, God's gifted us with gifts to be able to heal the sick. He did that with the disciples, and some people believe that the gifts were in the past. Some people believe that we can't have those types of gifts. That was miracle. Yeah, I kind of feel. I mean, I've seen miracles of people that have been told time and time again, this is an incurable condition. You'll live with this for the rest of your life. You have no chance. You'll be on medications for the rest of your life. There's no chance you'll ever be without them, and they're without them. And all I did was I laid my hands on the person with the intent to allow their body to function better and correct any structural problem in their spine that I possibly could. And through that, the design God gave their body, which is the brain communicating down the spinal cord and over the nerves, is working efficiently without interference. One of my core philosophies that I was taught by some of my mentors in chiropractic was that God needs no help in healing. He just needs no interference.
Ooh, I love that.
And so chiropractic is removing an interference to the nervous system, which is a structural alignment problem in the spine. Once that is corrected, then guess what? Now, without interference, God is healing your body. It goes back to, who do we give credit to? Anybody who heals in my office is not because of me. It's because of God's design, So it's still giving glory to him, I hope.
You just remove the interference. I love that. Oh my goodness, I got to do some ads. But we're talking with Dr. Dale Brown. He is the Wild Doc of Wild Roots up in Clarksville. You need to check this guy out. He is wonderful, and he is my chiropractor, my husband's chiropractor, Pat's chiropractor, and Lee Marie and all of us. We have seen the value of what he does, and he can help you out, y'all. Let's pause and let's talk about Cumberland Connect real quick. I've got to brag on Cumberland Connect. Oh my goodness. I mentioned that I had them coming out yesterday to put in an extender. So Josh gets out there, and he didn't have any idea that I do their ads or anything like that. Came out, could not have been more kind, informative, and he said, okay, we can do it this way, but if you'll do it this way, then you're going to end up having internet in all of your outbuildings. You just need to run some conduit. And he said, basically, we're going to run the conduit, and then they're just going to run the lines. It's not going to cost me any more. And he was just so straightforward with me. They didn't charge me for yesterday. He said we'll call it a property survey. And so he gave me the information I needed and didn't charge me a penny. And so we're going to go a little bit of a different route to get my service extended out into the barns, but this time it's going to work, and it's going to work beautifully. And I just can't say enough about Cumberland Connect and how helpful they've been. If you want to know more, if you're a Cumberland Electric customer, you're going to have access to Cumberland Connect. You can join the gig club. Seems like everybody that comes in here is part of the gig club. For $80, you can get a gig. You can get an extender for $5 a month, and it is amazing. It is just such a good company. Go and talk to them. You can go to cumberlandconnect.org, put in your zip code, and it'll tell you they may already be in your neighborhood, or they can tell you when they're going to be headed your way, or you can call them at 800-987-2362. Great folks, so nice. guys to work with, and you're going to love working with them. If you meet Josh, tell him I said hey if he comes out to your house. And if you need help financially, the Affordable Connectivity Program provides qualifying households with monthly credit to help pay for internet services. And if you're eligible, you could receive a credit of up to $30 per month toward broadband services. Guess what? They got a package that starts at just $30 per month. Get in touch with Cumberland Connect today and be sure and let them know that you turned. And I do want to say too, I've got the big Barrel Festival T-shirt out here on my counter. Kathy brought this by for me, and I started to wear it. Then I thought, no, I want to show you it because this is on the back. It's such a cool shirt. So if you want to get out to the Barrel Festival, you can pick one of those up this weekend. It's going to be up in Coopertown tomorrow. Learn about the history of Coopertown. They were barrel makers. It's so funny. We were talking, and I said, well, why do you think they made barrels, in Coopertown? And she's like, well, for food stores, I think it's probably for whiskey because we were distillers back in the day. I mean, that's the much to this. I mean, Robertson County was a big distilling town.
Really?
Oh, you have no idea. Sometimes how many kids have you got?
Well, we got one on the way, so we got.
No, congratulations!
Yep, thank you.
This will be number 6.
No, this will be
number 5.
So
Okay,
okay.
So
the 5th one's on the way.
Congratulations. That's wonderful. You need to you take them up to
knit together right now in the womb by the Lord.
I love it. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. I have 4. So, and I would have had 6 if my husband had changed more diapers. Let's just be real. He just didn't change enough diapers. I was like, okay, I'm done.
When I'm home, the wife says it's your turn to change them. So
that's great. I love it.
Works.
But you guys homeschool too, don't you? Didn't
yes,
you?
we do.
Yeah. See, that's awesome. But I'm a public school teacher, but I admire those who have the ability to be able to teach and do those things at home because I see the value in it. Yeah. And I see the value in all of it. Just like you're talking about doctors and chiropractors and all those things. I see the value in everybody and everything. And I understand why some people want to homeschool because it is a scary world out there. And some of the things that your kids are exposed to, man, you're just like, what are you talking about? I'm so thrilled to be in the school system because I know I can't go in and give them a Bible lesson, but I'm showing them Jesus just in my presence. Yeah. And I know so many people of faith. Yeah, I know so many people of faith that are going into teaching, not because we're trying to go in there and,
Bible thump.
Yeah, but because we just want to show them, again, there's hope. Yeah. Because so many of these, we've got a generation coming that's like 30% belief. Yeah. Maybe 30. And so I get homeschooling, man. It's a scary old world out there. So your wife does all the teaching, or do you do some of it? Are you the science teacher?
No, well, I probably should be maybe, but I don't get down in the books with them that often. But I get out in the woods and I teach them the hands-on stuff.
I love
they
it.
learn a lot just by being out in nature, and that's really where kids retain a lot of information. Is
I think so too.
Out there, hands-on, getting dirty, figuring things out.
Yeah.
Seeing it in real life. That's how they.
That's what we're hoping to give to. We have a little place up the road here, and we don't raise anything. We say we have a farm because we've got some acreage, but we don't really grow anything. But we have trees and woods and all the things. We have a section, probably about 10 acres that we just let go to seed, and it's just what God raised. Yeah. And it's so cool. Yeah. And there's a few trees out there that I had set before we decided to let it go to seed, but it's been really interesting to watch what just comes up naturally. Yeah. And it's been fascinating. And so my grandkids, as they come along, my grandson's going to be with us next weekend. That's what we're going to do. We're going to, no devices, don't bring your Stitch or whatever that thing is that you play games on. We're going to go outside. We're going to play in the creek. We're going to go fishing. We're going to walk through the woods. We're going to do those things. And so, I love being able to do that with kiddos because so many of them, I worked at the Benevolence Center for years and years up at Madison Church of Christ before I got tired to be a teacher. And one of the funniest, well, actually, it's kind of sad, but kiddos today, they just aren't exposed to stuff. And we have a community garden. We have just the amazing youth minister and Nathan, and he just wants to work in the community. So he's got this community garden, and he was gone somewhere, and he says, "Hey, Laverne, can you pick the garden for me while I'm gone?" Because he was going to be gone. This has been several years ago. And so he goes, pick the cucumbers and pick the blackberries. And so I had these two little boys that were just at the benevolent center doing something. I can't remember now. They were there with their mom. And I grabbed them. I said, hey, come help me pick the garden. So they were just so excited. And they walked out there and I said, pick that cucumber. And he goes, that looks like a pickle. He didn't
No,
never,
yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
it was so hysterical. I'm like, well, honey, that's how they start.
Yep.
And then but it was like, that looks like a pickle. And it was just so cute.
They go from pickles to cucumbers. It's like they graduate.
Yeah, it was just hysterical.
Yeah.
But I thought, bless his heart, he'd never seen a cucumber.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? And this kid was like 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
You know, the only way he'd had a cucumber is a pickle.
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow. So
Yeah.
being able to teach the kids from that, so I admire you. But congratulations. When's the baby due?
So probably end of January.
Oh, that's exciting. Well,
Yep.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Tell people, we've been talking all about Wild Root and so tell them where you're located, what's the address and what's your hours.
Yeah, 1715 Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. So we're down from the co-op.
Okay.
On Wilma Rudolph there.
Just if you put in Google Wild Roots Clarksville, you're going to find him. And so if somebody wants to come and see you, what is the process? I know, but you tell them. So.
Process, they got to call the office, get an appointment, 931-591-2010. Again, that's 931-591-2010. My team, Ashley or Rachel, help get you set up for an appointment. First initial appointment, usually we discuss what's your health history, what are you dealing with, what do you want to achieve, what are you looking for, discuss whether we feel we can help you or not. I typically take structural x-rays. Don't do it on everybody. Don't demand it, especially if you've had prior chiropractic care and things like that. Sometimes we can get away, but I like to see those pictures. And usually I'm not a chiropractor that likes to take re-x-ray. I like to take and get that foundation, that baseline of where what we're dealing with structurally. And then we develop a game plan. Now, I say there's always this unlock phase. We got to get the spine mobile, moving, nice and pliable. Once it's pliable, then we can really start to restructure. We do structural weighted, posture weighted exercises, help people stay in good posture. What I tell people, if you want to know the benefits of taking care of your spine, it's not, yes, indirectly, it's the benefits of chiropractic care when done with this goal in mind, which is to keep you in upright, proper posture. When the Journal of Geriatrics, the C7 plumb line is what they stated, which is basically the head position over your shoulders, and your C7 is the bottom vertebra in your neck. All right. So if a plumb line is shot straight down, where does it fall in line with the pelvis, the lumbar spine, the knees, the ankles, and even where's your head in relation to that plumb line? Well, what they show is the further the deviation of the head forward of that plumb line, the thoracic spine forward of that plumb line, the more need they will have for assisted living. Look at couples, look at people in a nursing home. Sadly, look at the structure of their spine. Look at the posture they carry, that they can't even get into good posture because their spine has been out of alignment for so long. It's been worn out and it's deteriorated. So if we could take those people, work on them early enough to keep them in better posture or restore some of that posture, we can actually assist them in not needing assisted living. We can help them not need that. That's a picture of just what we do. So that process, we usually adjust once. I adjust twice to figure out, did the spine hold that? Did we make sure that the mobility of the spine was held, or did we do what I call the yo-yo? Did you get some improvements and then kind of regress before that next appointment? Depending on that time in between appointments helps me kind of gauge, does this person need once a week, every other week? Does they need multiple times a week? We look at that. And I tell most people, I'll have somebody come in, they're like, what's the frequency you would recommend? I'm like, well, how fast do you want to get there?
Yeah.
If you start a workout routine that's working out once a week or twice a week, you're going to move forward. Now, if you want to move forward faster, get on a routine that's every day. And I give people a little bit of leeway. I'll give a recommendation when I feel is best. And my personality is, if I'm hurting, I'm going to get adjusted almost every day until I'm not hurting anymore, because I want to get back to where I can function on my farm and do the things I love to do, to be able to backpack with my kids. Like, I want to enjoy life at the fullest, and I don't want to waste a day of that because our days are limited. So I'm going to work forward to that as quickly as I possibly can. So, it's I'm not a cut and dry type of person that's like, okay, it's this for 3 months. It's this number for
Right.
everybody's different, and we'll figure that out. And so, but I am strong on recommending that people maintain their spines, not just utilize chiropractic for this
I'm
idea
hurting.
that's pain
Yeah.
relief. Like,
Yeah.
I don't wait till my truck is the rocker arms are knocking and, it's making a bunch of funny noises to be like, maybe I should change the oil now because it sounds like it needs it.
Right.
It's the same concept people sadly have been, pushed into. And that's more the insurance really pushes people towards the symptomatic treatment, because that's what they pay for. They pay for symptomatic treatment.
Yeah.
Insurances don't pay for your organic food, your grass-fed beef. You know what I mean? They don't pay for your gym memberships. They pay for drugs and surgery. And if you want to avoid drugs and surgery, sadly, in this society, we have to. The way our quote unquote healthcare system is a sick care system. Insurance is sick care. Insurance is not healthcare. It's not there to keep you healthy. It's there to pay for these things when you're sick, when you're disabled, when you're having problems, when you need extensive work because your engine blew up.
Yep.
So chiropractic primarily should be utilized for this wellness basis to keep you in that structurally sound condition so that your brain body can communicate properly, so you don't need to be on drugs, that you can live life to the fullest. Like, that's the hope and prayer that I have in chiropractic's service to humanity.
And again, it's based on a godly foundation, and that's what I love about what you do. And I just can't say enough about it. Gwen has popped in. I'm gonna let you guys say hello, and y'all go ahead and talk amongst yourselves real quick, and I'm gonna do a quick commercial, and we'll get back to the show. But we're gonna talk about Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. I'm gonna be out working in my garden today, so I may go and see Miss Amy before the day is over, because odds are I'm gonna get out and work in my yard, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I need this there, or I need this at this spot, and because I'm kind of notorious for putting plants in the ground and then forgetting to water them. I mean, it's just what it is. I kind of trend now more towards succulents and cactus and things like that, because I do better with it. But let's just be real. But I love Miss Amy. She's always so forgiving, and she goes, well, try this. And so she really helps me out. But if you want some help in your garden, and we all lost a lot of stuff. That polar vortex just took out so many shrubs. And if you want something, maybe put a fern there while things are regrowing. I'm into this mully grass. Lacey Bew's got me into this mully grass. It's like pink cotton candy in the fall. I cannot wait. I'm having to regrow my ivy right now. Amy has, advised me how to do that because I lost all my ivy. But she's just a wonderful help no matter what's going on in your garden. If you want to grow a beautiful vegetable garden, she's got bedding plants. They're growing a vegetable garden right now, so they're going to have vegetables coming in before you know it. If you've got questions, call them at 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185. They're at 4920 Highway 161, 4920 Highway 161, open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5. Sunday, they're open from 1 to 4. And when you get in touch with them, please let them always know that you turned Cinship. And mentioning cactus, Doc, I have a question. Do you eat cactus? Nopales? Is it Nopales?
Oh, I don't know the name.
Okay. Well, the only reason that I have a good.
Yeah, mainly the Mexican restaurants. Like we like.
Well, no, my friends, because we go to Mexico. I've been to Mexico
I've
probably
thought about growing
10
those
times.
big old.
Yeah,
That's
Nopales. That's Nopales
okay.
with the. I think that's right. I have to ask my.
I've thought about it. I haven't
I have
yet.
to ask Ilda. But I have several friends down there who have schooled me on the benefits of cactus.
Yeah.
And there's several people they're up on Central. There's somebody that's got nopales in their yard, and then I've got a neighbor that has it, and I'm thinking, man, I really need to grow that because it's just fabulous for diabetics. It is the go-to.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
learning.
haven't studied much on cactus, but what I've noticed sometimes, I'm like, God, why did you do this? Like stinging nettle, it's so medicinal, so nutritional, but yet it's so dang hard to get.
Well, the thing is, you have to have it in a certain time period.
Yeah.
Because once it gets too old, then it's like
Once it goes to seed. Then
What are you
a lot of
talking
it is
about?
the seed.
Stinging nettle.
Stinging nettle.
Oh, you're talking about that stuff that burns
if
your
you
legs?
walk through it, wood nettle, stinging nettle.
Yeah.
It gets on you. There's these microscopic, they're basically like needles, but they're
Little barbs.
chemical.
Yeah.
So they dissolve once they and it irritates the skin.
Makes you blister.
Yeah.
But it can help amazing with arthritis. It's
When
really
the
root
plant's
is really good
young,
for
when the plant's
prostate.
young, you do tea with it.
Yeah.
What? I didn't help. I have this everywhere.
Yes.
I have it all over.
And there are some herbalists that they come out and they can pick it with bare hands and never get stung. Just the way they know the techniques and the way in which to. I haven't necessarily experimented yet to that point because I've had some rough go around and
I have lots.
shorts in the woods and stuff like that
I have
when
lots.
I was younger, and so there's that.
But when it comes out in the spring when it's young,
Yeah.
that's when you pick it and dry it. And then
I always
make
think
tea
to
with it.
myself, I'm like, why did God make some of the most medicinal and nutritional things?
And they're tough
Like with
to get
these
to.
barbs and stingers and all this other stuff on it, you know what I
How
mean?
bizarre.
Like honey is so good, but golly, there's a lot of stingers around.
Stingers,
You know what I
the
mean?
the bees and stuff.
It's
yeah.
like milk thistle. Thistles, like really, the seed is really nutritional for your liver. It's very beneficial for the liver, but it's like, golly, those things are.
You gotta get to
rough.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta work to get to it. It's like, yep, I cast you out of the garden, so now you're gonna have to work for that.
Well,
if you
that's
want
what
the
he
good
said.
stuff,
That's
you're gonna have to work
That's
for
what
it.
he
You're
said.
gonna have to be careful.
Exactly.
He told us we were going to have to do that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Do you have any questions for Doc?
Well, what about aloe?
Aloe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things that I use a lot more in my clinic for intestinal inflammatory conditions. to help
Really?
soothe. It's a mucilaginous, so it helps to. It's like a mucus, so it lines the intestinal tract. It's kind of like when people have sunburns or when they have a
Yeah.
burn. Aloe is amazing to prevent that from really scarring and soothe that because it keeps it moist and damp so that it doesn't dry out or it doesn't continue that inflammatory process. Yeah,
I
aloe's
swear by aloe. That's another thing because we spend enough time. I love.
Don't use
going
the
to
aloe
make
that they find like in the sunscreen aisle at,
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's
your
crap.
stores, Walmart.
I'm sorry, did I say that?
Green, like don't use that. Like don't go squirting that bottle down your throat. No. You
No,
want
they
the real
have drinks. They have drinks
they
that you
do.
can buy.
Well,
that
but
are
I have to always, and that's one thing. I go to Amy all the time and buy aloe. I've got an a huge aloe plant right now
Yeah.
that I'm getting ready to separate to get several plants going because I have to have aloe because I'm very careless and I burn myself and hurt myself all the time. And the first thing I do is put aloe on
Yeah.
it. First thing I
You have
do.
those little plants around and break them open.
Yeah,
Just rub them right on that
it's
burn,
just the
that.
best.
Yep.
And I use it for bug bites. I use it for everything, but I did not know about
Yeah.
eating it.
It's really good to soothe the gelatin.
Really? So how do you take it? I mean, do you just reap open and just
So
take
you
a
could, if you did
spoonful
it
of
yourself, it's almost like you fillet it like a fish.
Okay,
So
yeah.
if you had a big old piece, you can fillet it like a fish, and just you can put that in a smoothie. There's a bitterness to it, but
Yeah, all that
it's
stuff you sell is
extremely
pretty bitter.
beneficial.
Yeah.
Bitter's better, right?
He's gotten us taking some supplements that are liquid, and he's like,
Yep.
"Put it with Jim."
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first time.
Water it down just a little bit. Usually, echinacea is probably the worst. I would say.
That's probably the one that Mark got a hold of, and he has a
Echinacea's
cough.
Great
Mark,
for the immune system. Great for the lymph system. But man, it burns and tingles.
Tough's going down.
it was so. Mark has a really he coughs a lot. He's had pneumonia several times. When he first, this has been years. He's had years of stuff going on, and he's doing great now. But he has a cough, just kind of and it'll get bad sometimes. And we were in there one night, and his cough had just really gotten a hold of him again. And you got him on this, and I forget which one it is, but I said, well, he said, take it. Just go ahead and take it. We got out in the car.
He was
And
like,
I made
taking
him
it
take.
right away.
I made him take it, and I thought he was going to just have to pull over. He's like, "Oh my word!"
Yeah,
And next time
that
we-
would probably be echinacea. The other one that's good for the lungs is mullein. Mulleins are
Maybe.
really
I can't
good for
remember which
chronic
one it
lung
was.
infection or chronic lung issues.
yeah.
Bronchitis or recurrent pneumonia or emphysema, different things like
Yeah.
that, or even asthma. Mulleins are really good herb for that.
Well, the next time we put it in juice.
Yeah, but echinacea during acute infection, a strong bronchitis type
Yeah.
situation, echinacea is really good to kind of clear.
have to look.
It's more warming, it's burning, tingly, and so it kind of helps your body expel what it needs to remove.
That may have been the one he had then. I don't know, but it was during the
my
winter.
daughter got a hold of it one time. I was taking echinacea. And
Yeah.
usually it's like they like elderberry and they like herbs, and they take bitter herbs without problem. It's amazing when you start your kids out like that. It's
Yeah.
amazing what their palate can
So
handle,
good
what
for
they'll
him
eat.
too. Oh my gosh.
But I had a bottle of echinacea. I poured it in my little shot glass, and I was getting ready to take it. And she walked up when she was little and grabbed a hold of the bottle. And this is the way I am as the father. I'm like,
Go ahead.
I just smiled and watched her. And Anna's like, why did you just watch her? I'm like, I wanted her
Because I
to
wanted to-
learn.
I
you
wanted
know?
to see
I
the
didn't want to be
reaction.
like, you're not allowed to. I'm like, I want her to be able to have herbs and you know, she's welcome to those herbs because they're not going to harm her,
Right.
you know. But man, oh man, you should have saw her face was like, what did I just get a hold of? The drool, like she started salivating and like it was running. She's like open mouth, drooling on the floor, like, what's going on? And I'm like, that'll teach you. That'll teach you.
Don't just walk up and
That's
pick
right.
something up.
No.
But
That's hysterical. So you take that straight?
I can, yeah. I don't enjoy it necessarily, but I can. Yeah, we keep saying we
strong.
need to have like a video of. We set up 5 people that never had echinacea before and put out a little shot glass of it and let everybody take a shot glass of echinacea. Just
Yeah.
videotape all the facial expressions
Oh,
and the reactions and stuff.
That's my
Told a
son.
few people.
That's my son with wasabi.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The first time he did that, we went to he wanted to try sushi because he had seen me do sushi, and he was like 5.
yeah.
So I said, sure. I ordered him a thing of sushi, and I forgot. Some restaurants put the wasabi on the sushi rolls, and some
Yeah.
put it on the
Put it
side. Well, this one put it on the rolls, and I totally. It just, I didn't think of it. He popped that first piece of sushi in his mouth, and his eyes got as big as $50.
Just like,
It was like,
Yeah.
it was like, Mom, why do you eat this?
But watch the response of our mucous membranes and things like that
Mhm.
for wasabi. So if you have like a sinus infection, you're clogged up.
Oh, yeah.
Wasabi or wasabi or what's the other root?
Horseradish.
Horseradish
Yeah,
is great.
horseradish, yeah.
It makes you kind of dumb.
My mom grew up watching her dad. Every night before he went to bed, he would get a piece of rye bread, and he would get a clove of garlic, and he would get a little onion,
Mm-hmm.
and he would sit there and he would just slice everything real thin, and it was just a little half sandwich that he would make, and he would have that. She said, he never lost a day of work. I never saw him blow his nose or have a sniffle, but every night he would have a little garlic and onion
Mhm.
sandwich. Before he went to bed.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
explain
Pretty cool.
that one to me, Doc. Why
Garlic's
would why?
another very antimicrobial, but
Mhm.
beneficial to good microbes in the digestive tract, and then it's also it's a heating, warming, so it
Interesting.
triggers the flushing of our
Sinuses.
sinuses
yeah.
and things like that. and
Really
mucus.
interesting.
So
Because
our salivary glands start to flush and move fluid
Okay.
through. It helps move fluid. But there's a lot of medicinal effects of garlic.
There's so much that we've lost.
yeah, we have
So much that we've
Yeah.
lost.
And I'm one of these. I'm trying to rediscover it because I'm 60. I'm going to be 61 at the end of this year, and with the arthritis and all this, and I'm like, what am I doing that's doing damage? And so I know I eat terribly. I know I do. I know I do. I don't have the only addictions I have are food. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
one of these people. I almost wish I didn't have to fool with food
Right.
because. If I get busy, I don't think about it, but then I
Right.
get hungry,
Yeah.
and I almost wish I didn't even have to fool with it because the minute I start eating, then I have a hard time, and I want to be really thin because I feel better. It's not because about looks. I feel better. I've been 20
Yep.
pounds lighter than I am now. I felt better.
You move easier.
I move easier. I'm more fluid. I
Mm-hmm.
want my husband not because I think he needs to lose weight because I just know we
stress off
move
his
better.
heart.
Yes.
Right.
And so I'm trying to figure out how to get there. And so I'm trying to incorporate. I'm adding a
Got
little
back on
olive.
diet sodas.
I know. I got.
I could show you some studies on diet
No.
sodas that
Yeah.
people who drink diet sodas
know.
actually gain weight faster, and it's harder to lose weight.
I know. I need to just stop it. Just stop it.
Water's great.
I know.
Water's fabulous.
I know. I'm just.
Have you
I
been doing like black tea lately, making some nice
Yeah.
black tea sweetened with
Okay.
honey or maple syrup, things like that. If you can handle
Honey?
sugar, all right.
yeah.
Yeah. Honey's good.
Yeah, I tell you, I think sugar is an addictive thing
It
for
is.
me.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
something
Very
that
much
I
is.
just if
Very
I can take a sugar candy and I can't stop. I mean, I work with Celebrate Recovery and I work with people that have chemical addiction.
Yeah.
I've never had a pull to that. I've never had any problem with alcohol, anything like that. But man, when it comes to sugar, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can during Easter, jelly beans are evil to me. And I'm not kidding.
See, they're like
I've-
disgusting to me. Like when
You
you,
know-
really transition over
Yeah.
to eating healthy, your body will be like, yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
It takes
See,
time to get away from
Yeah.
it, and
Right.
it takes time to
To flush it out of your
rewire
system.
your nervous
Yeah.
system and flush your system out and get
Mm-hmm.
away from that addiction of the sugar and stuff. But man, once you do, it's so nice, and
Yeah.
I wish parents would really start their kids off right with nutrition and things like that, because it's so much easier to keep them on the right path with nutrition than it is to be like, okay, we're changing everything. No more McDonald's, no more sweets
Yeah.
and candy, no
Oh my
more
gosh, yeah.
fake foods, no more white bread. It's like,
Yeah.
then it's like these kids throw fits, and
Yeah.
you see
Like,
the
I want chicken nuggets.
It's like weaning. You have to
Yeah.
Yeah.
instead of three times a week, do 2 times a week. Just kind of slowly cut back like that. So
Well, and so, two of the things that I have done in my diet that I have done, I think that are good, and you can tell me if they are or not. When I'm going to do a break, and then we'll come back, and you can tell me if I'm on the right track or not. I eat an avocado literally every day. I'm just very, very faithful to that, and also I've added like a tablespoon of olive oil to my diet every day. Are those good things, bad things, wasting my time? So you answer that for me. Would God want me to do that?
all right.
Because it's natural. But let me go ahead and pause, and we're going to talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. Here we go, guys. If you need help in real estate, these are great folks to call. They're great friends of mine. They live up in Cross Plains. They're here in Robertson County. They're part of our community. They've been there for 27 years. So they specialize in Robertson County properties, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Just excellent. Barry came out of that. I was explaining to somebody yesterday who Barry was. They were asking me about something audio video I was doing, and I said, well, Barry came in and helped me with it, and he was a vice president of a marketing company for 17 years, so he has been such a great help to me, and he is just there to help anybody in the community. If you have something that's audio video driven and you've got questions, give him a call. He'd be glad to help you. And odds are, whenever you go to work with real estate and you're thinking, man, I need somebody to make sure they see my property and see it well, you're going to want somebody like Barry to come out and photograph it, do some video of it. Oh, drone footage. He taught us to fly drones. It is the coolest stuff. He is a great guy. Rebecca, same. They're just always working in the community, doing all the things that they can to just make life better around you. And so wouldn't you love to have them at the real estate table with you? Check them out at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or by BUYRobertsonCounty.com, or just give Becky a call at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Tell them you turned Cincha. So to answer the question, are those good things for me? Avocado and olive oil.
I think the avocado is great. Olive oil is kind of the middle of the road.
Okay.
Some olives, like the whole food.
Oh, okay.
The effects of nut and seed oils, like even those that are healthier than vegetable oil, don't touch vegetable oil. Oxidize very easy. But even olive oil begins to oxidize fairly quickly.
Okay.
Off it. Now, extra virgin olive oil, yeah, it is a little bit more stable, but
Okay.
there is some oxidation there.
you have to just be stored. It has to store
Stored
correctly.
properly is
Yeah.
one critical. Like it'll
Yeah.
oxidize really fast, and that's why the bottles are green
Dark
or
and-
brown.
yeah.
So what is proper storage of extra virgin olive oil? That's what I get.
No circulating air. All
Okay.
right. Once you open it, begins to oxidize much faster after you
Yeah.
open the bottle. So,
Okay.
So there are some arguing in the science that for certain liver conditions and things like that, I wouldn't actually recommend olive oil. I'd stay away from it. Any nut and seed oils. It's not necessarily the way in which that extraction process, and then once you extract it, that's when the oxidation starts to occur. It's kind of like once you bite into an apple and expose that flesh, it
Browns.
starts to turn brown and oxidize. So, if we could extract the oil right there from the olives and then consume it, it'd be great. I feel, but so I kind of am in that area of like, I think fish oil or sardines or grass-fed beef, actually the lard or the fat is actually going to have a way more of the omega-3s that are way more beneficial from that anti-inflammatory effect.
Okay.
So.
Okay, because I don't know why I just
I'm
got
big
off on the
eat
olive oil
olives,
thing.
Eat the avocados, eat the fruit. Those are fruits.
Yeah.
So fruits with very healthy fats in them, and the benefit is way more than just the straight oil itself.
Okay, good to know. I may eliminate the olive oil then, because I've just recently been, I guess, and some of that is
Kind of
vanity.
the middle of the road. If you're gonna have
Yeah.
some homemade sourdough bread or something like that, dipping it in some herbs and olive oil, it's okay. But
Yeah.
don't take in a ton of that.
Okay. Well, good to
Extracted
know. Because
nut and seed
that's
oils.
one thing I've been kind of adding to. I'll do grilled chicken and avocado, and I was adding just a little bit of olive oil to it just to get it into my. Because I'm thinking from a vanity's perspective, it's good for my skin. I don't know. And that's just me thinking, oh, it's oil. And, because I'm very mindful of,
You're right on
I
the
want to
path.
fight that
Healthy
age.
fats. Healthy
Yeah.
fats are
Okay.
good for the oil in the skin and things like that. This cellular membrane, every cell has a double layer of fat. It's a
Right.
lipid bilayer. So you need that right ratio of omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9s, and that comes from the foods we eat. And when we take in oils, most oils are going to be way more than the omega-6s, so the ratio is in there. But in grass-fed beef, in sardines and things like that, that ratio of omega-3 to omega-6s is almost spot on where God would design it for the healthiest beneficial effect to our cell membranes. And our cell membranes can resist inflammation and oxidative stress by having that right ratio of omega-3s and omega-6s. And that's typically in that 1-to-1, 1-to-4 ratio within that ratio. That's where we have the strongest resistance against cellular damage and DNA damage. So,
Okay.
What about dried fruits?
dry fruits, I think, are fine.
Yeah.
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 Have you done
Just the
anything?
dried fruits that you buy at stores a lot of times are like they
Put
sugar
all
all
over
Right,
over it, you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm big on let fruit be for food, and that's Ezekiel 47:12 actually says, let fruit be for food and leaves be for medicine. So I believe
Oh.
leaves are more medicinal, but when we need the energy and for food,
Yeah.
I think fruit is amazing for food.
To treat us. Yeah.
Yeah, healthy animals are great for food as well.
Okay. Yeah. So you're not a vegetarian.
Oh no.
Oh,
You're a meat eater.
But that's so that could be a topic way more
Well,
than frustrating for some
yeah.
people. But B vitamin deficiencies,
Yes.
are
My son's
an issue with
My son's a runner, and he was doing the vegan route for a long time.
Yeah.
And he noticed that it's like, Mom, I can't do that. So he started adding eggs. He would have a fried egg,
Mm-hmm.
and then he started adding beef liver.
Yeah, beef liver is amazing for the B
So,
vitamins.
so yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a deficiency that,
Yeah.
I mean, he noticed.
It's a common deficiency in that category of food. People that choose to be vegetarian,
Mhm.
vegan, they typically have to supplement with B vitamins. And when you have to supplement with an isolated nutrient, I feel, then obviously the diet is not
Sufficient.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
huge deficiency in vitamin D right now.
Yeah.
When you're a
People with vitamin D are just, well, no, I mean, just everyone is so vitamin D deficient because you don't get out in the sun anymore.
I know, and then that
You know,
kills me.
20 minutes in the sun every day, and that's your vitamin D for the day.
What say you, Doc? Is that a good
Oh, yeah.
guide?
Yeah. But you combine, people are eating rancid fats, they're not eating healthy fats, healthy cholesterol. We're taking cholesterol meds to lower
Yep.
the building block for all our hormones, including vitamin D. So it's just this, the
Cyclical
system is
thing,
completely
yeah.
broken. And, it's like I'm looking outside. I can't wait to get outside.
Me either.
And people wear sunscreen thinking it's going to protect them, but it actually prevents the vitamin D
From
production.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Because see, I have
significantly
sunburn really
lower.
well. What should I do then?
I believe in protective clothing.
Okay, that's what I do. Yeah.
Those SPF, type graded shirts for, being in the water, on the beach. Protective clothing, shade, but you need direct exposure to the sun without any chemical on your skin. And in fact, I could pull up studies. They show that the chemicals in sunscreen are photocarcinogenic. Yeah, they stop you from
Wow.
burning, but they're light stimulated triggered to create a compound that is then more carcinogenic, more cancer causing to your body.
Then the sunburn.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
kidding. Oh my gosh, they just put sunscreen
But
all
it's
over my
but That's
grandkids.
a problem with we don't have our organizations, our government organizations. They're not there to protect. They're there to protect the big industries.
Yeah.
Yep.
To their
money.
Their
The money.
protect their
It's just
agenda.
like,
yeah.
are you, they can't even. I mean, they had like very subtle warnings when the news came out that these studies have been done.
Yeah.
That, slather these mice up with sunscreen that we put on humans and children, and then let's put them under a UV light and see who gets cancer first. Oh, it's the one with sunscreen.
Whoa. That's
But let's
crazy.
not say that. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
That is
But then we
crazy.
can't pull it off the market.
Yeah. See, I don't use sunscreen. I put on sleeves because when I'm outside,
talking
I'm
about,
working
protective
and I'm
clothing
digging in.
after
I'm
you've
digging in
exposed
shrubs
to
and
the sun.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get
So
30 minutes of
wow.
exposure, and then
Wow, wow, wow.
And there's sunglasses, glasses themselves, contacts. We get a lot less of the effect through our eyes. Our eyes oftentimes will receive that light, and then that light tells our body, hey, now we can go into the production of vitamin D. So not wearing sunglasses often, not looking through windows or taking your glasses off, even if it's blurry, just if you could do that and absorb that light directly through the eyes, because there's a reflective effect of glasses and sunglasses that decrease that photoreceptors in our nervous system to say, hey, we got good sun, so let's start producing vitamin D. There's little tricks like that.
And we could get into scripture too that ties back to the eyes being the light of the soul or something. I think that's scriptural. I'm not really sure. And Lee Marie's going to stay tuned because Wild Roots Doc's going to stay on for another hour, but we're going to depart and let her come in here. Man, and it is 8:00 and I still need to do one ad, and we're just going to wrap it up real quick and transition over to the Go Show. But as we take a pause from the show, this has been a lot of fun. I love this guy, and I'm so glad that I have found him, and I've just got to get up there more because I need to really. I'm going to be 61, and I want to live well. I don't want to get all stooped. I want to, I want people still tell me, they're like, wow, you're 60? You don't look it. I want to hear that when I'm 80. Yeah, And so the only way you're going to do this is to live well, and I got some things I got to fix. I know. I got to fix some stuff. Okay, guys, do you want to have some fun this weekend? Do you know you can go to the races for free? Guess what? This little magazine, the Keenan Group put this out. It's called Let's Talk Trash, and about being a good steward of our world, guys. You can still find some of these at the post office. I think Home and Jeweler still have some, F&M Bank. But if you find one of these, the back page is worth $40. You can get in up to 6 kids, 2 adults with this pass at the Veterans Motorplex, which is the old Highland Rim Speedway. Gates open tomorrow at 4. You can take this and go right in. How much fun you will have. If you've not been to the races, it is an absolute blast. I love it. I can't wait to get my grandson out there and have some fun. They're in Greenbrier, 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. If you've got questions, give them a call at 615-643-8725, 615-643-8725. Follow them on social media, and that'll, if for some reason it's raining, sometimes they have to cancel, but go to Highland Rim Speedway on social media, and then that's where you'll find Veterans Motorplex. They kept all the social media pages that Highland Rim had started because they have a lot of followers, and it made sense. So go to the races this weekend. Get out there and see Jerry, and you'll have some fun with your kiddos. They have big wheel races and all kinds of fun stuff, and you're just going to have a great time with your family at Veterans Motorplex. When you get by there, always let them know U-Turn sent you. Thank you for sponsoring One Street Over and to transition from One Street Over into the Go Show. Special episode with the Wild Doc Brown. Any parting thoughts, guys, as we finish up our segment here?
Get some sunshine.
Get some sunshine. I love it. Absolutely. And for sure, and again, this is a man of God, guys, so I can't say enough about how that matters. If you want to do something better for your health, how about let a man of God help you do that? All right, my friend. Lee Marie's on her way. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Oh, go to the Barrel Festival this weekend, Coopertown, tomorrow morning. God bless y'all. This is 1100 WSGI.